Well, good morning, guys. It's a cold day here today. It's about 50 degrees outside, which is cold for here when your average summer temperature is 115 degrees, 110 degrees. But I thought I'd give you guys an update. I haven't done one in a while, so I'll get started. I'll give you a run through. So we got the Murray here. I think I did an update on the new tires. I got some 2211s in the back and some 615s in the front. Yeah, 615s. Yeah. But something happened. I went out on a romp. It was at night. And my belt snapped while I was out romping. And, well, let me show you here. So here's my old belt. Right here. As you can see, it's broken. And I was like, oh, well, it was an old belt. I kind of expected it would snap sooner or later. And so I used this belt to take advantage of, well, if I have to order a new belt, I might as well measure one that fits perfectly without having to use my idler pulleys, which are these, which are originally deck pulleys that I went to bearing belt and chain, or belt bearing and chain, whatever, and I bought some needle bearings to fit inside to use them as idler pulleys, because they're originally splined, I guess you would say. But yeah, these are two of the idler pulleys that I had, and that was running this original belt, because the belt was long since I changed the ratios on the mud mower, the rear transmission pulley and the front drive pulley. But yeah, so I thought, I just snapped a belt, no big deal. So I took this one, I measured, and I ordered this belt. And that's how long my belt needed to be without, without the idler pulleys, those two idler pulleys. Actually, three. I took out a third one too, which is this one right here. I took that idler pulley out. So I removed 3 idler pulleys in order to make this belt work, and I ordered 2 of them. There's the other case. I already put the other one on. Let me see here. Oh, but so the reason why the belt snapped, I was like, oh, it was just old, it snapped. That wasn't the case. So here we go. Once I put that new belt on, I pulled it out, I tried to give it a start, and I noticed it wouldn't roll real well for some reason. And this is why. Don't worry about all these washers. I was trying to shim out the transmission, and I'll tell you why. Oh, yeah, it's a whole bunch of them, huh? So, this is second gear. As you can see, I pulled out the little bits there that broke. That's what it should look like. And I found this inside the transmission. Broke. And this is the splined one. So that's the shifter gear, and this is the set gear. And you can see it's missing a tooth there. I don't know exactly how this catastrophic failure happened, but I was looking into the gears, and I was looking at like 10 or 15 bucks if you find the right tooth and all this yada yada yada. So I was like, you know what? Third gear and second gear are pretty close together as far as ratios go. So I just took second gear out, and I shimmed up some shims. Let me get out of here. In the transmission. And I didn't film what I was doing because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But so now I have first, third, fourth, and fifth. And what I did in the transmission is I took second gear completely out, and I just moved first gear over to next to third gear. And if you look inside the transmission, or if you've ever been in the transaxle, then you know how this works. You know, you got your fifth, fourth, third, second, first inside your transmission. So I removed this gear completely, and I just moved first gear over. So now it just totally bypassed that. And what I did is I made some spacers, and I put a spacer over here where first gear originally was, since first gear is right next to third now. And just pretty much remove those gears out of the transmission and put a spacer. And that's all they pretty much do in the 3, 4, 5, and 6 speed Peerless transmissions. They just put spacers. That's why you can make a 5 speed a 6 speed, or vice versa, whatever. So I made a spacer, and so now, yeah, I just have first, third, fourth, and fifth, and reverse and neutral still. But yeah, so I tore the transmission out, and I also found out something else that's kind of interesting, is this axle on this side is actually wearing into the transmission, because there's no bearings in this transmission. It's kind of a crappy transmission, and yeah, it's got about a 1/4 inch of play right here in there where the axle goes through, right on the end. It's about a 1/4 inch up and down, and there's not a whole lot that could be done about that. So that's why I didn't buy a new gear. That's why I wasn't too worried about it. I just pulled that gear out and put spacers. Since I blew that gear out, I just put some spacers, and now I have a working tractor again. Let me see if I can show you guys the underneath real quick. So there's the new belt. You can see it goes up to my front pulley, and that's that little stub out right there. Right there is where the plastic idler pulley was. And then you can see that bolt, that bird poop weld right there. That's one nut. And the other nut is right there. And those were where the 2 other idler pulleys were, along with the clutch pulley and the back pulley. So I eliminated 3 idlers and just put 1 belt with the clutch, and it seems to work really well. It grabs like you wouldn't believe with this new Kevlar belt. And yeah, there's that crappy transmission. Don't get mad for saying it's crappy. It just has no bearings or nothing, and like I said, it's wearing out the input where the axle goes in, and it's just kind of, I don't know, disheartening, for a lack of a better word. It's upsetting that but the engine runs really good after the rebuild, and she does smoke a little, but she's got power for days, so that's all I care about. Yeah, so that's why my belt broke. I'm lucky the transmission didn't explode. Yeah, here, I'll do a little startup real quick since I'm getting ready to take it out for a test run. Like I said, it's 50 degrees out here, so I don't know how it's gonna start. Let's see. Started right up. So yeah, you can see that she works. I just took her out and made her a 4-speed instead of a 5-speed, which kind of sucks, but it works. So I'm gonna go do a test run, and I'll give you guys an update and let you know how it goes. Once again, for whoever watches these, thanks for watching.